One is called ether, one is called plasma. There are 5 elements. The quintessence is ether. That's the source of the next 4 elements, which are plasma, beginning with fire, then air, then water, then earth, and they are just 4 solid states of frequency. The ether, the quintessence, which is always represented by the thumb, this is ether. And this is what Einstein and a lot of the Jesuit inverters of truth have been trying to eliminate from our curriculum, our repertoire, our knowledge base, that the ether does not exist. So the ether is magnetism, plasma is electricity. Ether radiates, electricity vibrates. 2 different waves. Vibration, radiation. So that's about as simple as I can keep it for now. I could elaborate.
We'll go into more depth next time, but we're answering the questions that, we're giving answers to the questions that they have. We don't need to go into super depth at this time. All right, let's move on. The Santos have an explanation for indigenous people not referring to or mentioning Tartarian culture and architecture.
Yeah. Well, in Australia, there's a lot of evidence of Tartaria, especially Melbourne. Melbourne's one of the greatest Tartarian cities. Sydney as well is absolutely incredible. What I think happened there is that most of the people that were not decimated with smallpox and diseases and whatever other way and means in which they eliminated people from these great Tartarian cities, which left only the country dwellers alive, those country dwellers, they already had their Aboriginal ancient lifestyle because they chose that. They did not wish to live in the cities. They didn't want to. It's just the same today. There are people who are country folk and there are people who are city folk. And it has always been like that in history. Even when Tartaria existed, people would not go to the city because they didn't like going to the city. They loved being with the trees and nature. So what I believe happened is that when the European colonisation of the world began through the Jesuit program of the New World Order, I believe they just emptied the cities out by some kind of technology and their libraries, I guess, their knowledge base. And so all you have left now is these indigenous tribes just wandering around the bush, just like the Indians, the Hopis, the Mayans, and they made them appear to be like
you said before, reset.
A reset.
Yeah, just a reset.
Exactly. So they made those people appear to be like the only people who inhabited those lands. But they actually murdered the city dwellers. Yeah. They destroyed their knowledge and their libraries. And so it's a total rewrite of history.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Hermetic Savant asks, what philosophy of school of thought is your academy based off of?
Neoplatonism, the best one. Hermeticism, of course, absolutely, of course, but we're not excluding other great schools, Kabbalistic Jewish schools, Sufi Islamic schools. There's a lot of wonderful schools, but I'm really mostly a Neoplatonist, and I follow mostly Porphyry and Iamblichus, the 2 greatest of the Neoplatonists. So just use Neoplatonism as the model, folks. There's a reason, a very good reason why Justinian shut down the academies in 527, because that school would have kept humanity in a much higher vibration, and we would not be in the mess that we are in if Justinian didn't do that. So, yeah, follow the Neoplatonic model. They used to be called three things. They used to be called syncretists, Neoplatonists, or eclectics. And this is the most eclectic academy that will ever exist, I believe, and hope so, because I believe in eclecticism and integrating all fields of human knowledge, because in the end it's all from one source, and so it deserves to be integrated. And the Neoplatonists were the ones who elaborated this wisdom more so in a very layman's way, rather than, in a very convoluted, gospel-y type religious way where everything was hidden and conceived in nutshells of truth, The Neoplatons actually were very honest and elaborated on the Godhead and all the emanations of the Godhead, the dominions, the principalities, who the Logos was, the difference between Adonai and Jehovah and Jabulon and Yaldabaoth and all of these gods. The Neoplatonists really, really elaborated at length. So I'm using their model, and they were astrologers and vegetarian.